autumn breeze, dead leaves beneath my feet, a long walk home, a long walk home. On broken knees, prepared for defeat. One chance to escape, a single chance of escape. Clouds below, swirling trends, a chill upon the lips, warm within the blood. The only sound left is this steady drip.
Ooh,
And the only
nice.
sound left
Everything's looking pretty good.
is this steady drip.
Okay. There we go. So, welcome to the stream.
Takes
I didn't stream last week because it was Thanksgiving in the United States. So, coming back from that, do a simple stream today. I want to actually, I've been using this background that you see all around me here in my live streams for, I mean, it was generated when Firefly was still in beta. So it's been a while. It's been like a year. So I'm thinking, let's go ahead and refresh some of that. We can refresh that well. So another thing, new with my setup here, very nice, is my lighting situation. So previous to today's stream, I used to have just a light in the front, and you know, it was very variable and it was very harsh. Things are a lot more even now. So if you've been following my streams for a while, at least a year, you'll know that I actually used to just stream out of a corner of my basement. And you can imagine that's not very well lit at all. So I built a studio, or I contracted a general contractor to build a studio for me, which I am in right now. And part of that was adding lighting. And I've got lots of lighting now above me and in front of me and all sorts of stuff. And it's nice, cool lighting, like I like. These are all LEDs that can be adjusted between very hot, warm, cool, and very, very cool. I have these on the coolest setting because I want my streams to be cool. So let's go ahead. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to design a streaming background with Firefly, and you know, we may pop into Photoshop to do stuff too. Just want to make a simple dark background. I'm thinking curtains, kind of like what I have behind me here. I've got these curtains, and I've been using I've been using this forever, right? So I've actually I bought this backdrop. It's a photographic backdrop for photo shoots and things like that. I bought this during the COVID lockdowns because, of course, I had to teach uh, completely remote over Zoom and everything. And you know, it's it was interesting, but a lot of good things came of it, right? So one of the good things that came of it is, these streams. So Adobe asked a number of us on the Adobe Education Leaders group if we would be interested in streaming content during lockdowns, and that's where this all came from. So it's been very useful uh, as we go through here. Hey, Jamie, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Yeah, so we're gonna just generate some stuff with Firefly today. Just create a new background. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Yes. And by the way, if people don't know this, inside of Behance, you can click on anybody's image. So if somebody is commenting in the chat like Jamie is here, you can click on Jamie's image and you can view his Behance page, his profile, and see his work and everything. So yeah, check out Jamie's work. Lots of great stuff. All right. So I know there's more people here than just Jamie. Feel free to say hello in the chat and we'll get into it now. One other thing is that, aside from Behance, I'm also kind of streaming this as a multi-stream on YouTube as well. I think I'm going to continue doing that because the last time it worked out pretty good. It seems like I've got a good enough connection that multi-streaming is not a problem. All right. So let's go ahead and get going with some Firefly here. So in Firefly, I'm going to go down and I just want to do some text to image generation here. So clicking on generate, that's going to allow me to put in my prompt. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming everybody who's looking at this is familiar with Adobe Firefly. It's Adobe's generative AI, and it does more than just image generation, right? You can do vector generation through Illustrator. You can do like prompt-based recoloring of vector objects. You can do all sorts of different things, and they've got a bunch of stuff in the works in terms of 3D and stuff like that. So, if you haven't checked it out, check out Firefly. If you're on Behance and you're looking at live streams, I think mostly all of Adobe's official live streams right now are centered around Firefly. So you probably very hard to miss. So let's get to it. And again, I like to keep these streams very short. I'm busy. I got other things to do. You're all busy. So it's always fun to do these, but I'm not the type of person to do like a 2 or 3 hour stream. You'll never see me do that. I keep them short and sweet and done. So let's do it. So I want to generate, let's say, some highly detailed red curtains, dark red curtains. With abundant shadows, right? Let's generate that and see what we get. And, one thing about Firefly that would be nice for them to change is for us to be able to get in here so that we can choose things like aspect ratio first. because I want obviously a 16 by 9 look here. And these are pretty good, but they're wow, I want them darker for one thing. And I want just curtains. I don't want maybe I should say window panels. Highly detailed dark red fabric panels with abundant shadows. So this is kind of new. It was released, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. We've got prompt suggestions, and as you can see, it's English only for now, but that's okay. Or background. So you can see it gives us ideas. So I'm gonna go widescreen. I'm gonna adjust my prompt, and then we can go in here and change things like visual intensity, the strength of our style, things of that nature. So color and tone, here's what I want. Let's make this muted color. For lighting, dramatic or studio light might work, or low lighting even. Let's do low lighting. And composition, I want it to be pretty wide. All right, let's go ahead and generate. Now, Firefly Image Model 2, which is what we're using here, you can always switch your image model up top here in the model version. Model 2, you can also make all these different photographic adjustments, which is pretty nice. Let's make this really wide and generate. Let's check in on the comments. Nothing new in Behance. Let's see how YouTube's going. I've got nobody watching YouTube. Whoa, that's different. Huh. That is like, yeah. I mean, maybe fabric panels. These are pretty good, actually. It was a bit different from what I was thinking. I think we should be more specific about the type of fabric. Maybe say like a canvas. Give it a lot of texture. Dark crimson. See what happens here. Pretty similar. It's funny. Highly detailed dark crimson. Let's say hanging panels. I don't want it splayed out on the floor. I want it to be hung like a window treatment, like curtains. High quality photo. Let's put that in there too. I want high quality. Crazy. Okay, these are, that's not great right there. But these are a bit better, right? Let's say elaborate fabric. Yeah, so I've been doing a bunch of stuff with on these streams. I've got planned out a number of, oh, that's interesting. Goodness. I almost feel like to get the prompts I want, I need to like go onto a window panel shopping experience website and you know, see what the descriptions are for things like that. Because yeah. It's not exactly, I mean, that's interesting. But those are not fabric. That's not the type of panel I'm talking about. Those are like wall panels. So let's change this from with curtains again. Switch it out with curtains. Generate. Now a thing to know is I'm using a number of credits as I'm going through here. So if you're interested in looking at your credits as you're going through Firefly, okay, this is getting closer to what we want. Good. If you click on here, you can see your plan includes generative credits. And if I view my account, and I click my face, gosh, I hope there's not too many any personal information here, like credit card numbers and things like that. You can see I've used like 24 credits out of the 1,025 that I have for the month. And the thing is, they refresh every month, which is nice. This one is as close as any of them, right? Hello, Scott. How are you today? Phil made your summer picture look like of a truck look like winter. Phil, do you mean generative Phil? Or are you talking about somebody that we may both know named Phil? That one's pretty nice too. Oh boy, these are cool. Yeah, the trees I have right now as my background, you can see it in the stream. I like them, but it's time for a change. So let's show similar to that. Let's check in with YouTube too. Okay, so I've got a viewer on YouTube. Hello, YouTube viewer. I hope well. Feel free to pop something into the chat on YouTube and let me know how things are going. We're doing a multi-stream here on Behance and YouTube, so. Okay, I mean, this one's all right, you know. So yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, let's pull one of these down and we can edit it in Photoshop, right? So I'm gonna grab this guy right here. I'm gonna say, download. And of course, Adobe Firefly. It places content credentials inside the file. Let's go ahead and continue. Perfect. And we'll open up our good friend, Photoshop. Hello, Photoshop. How are you today? Let's drag in our download into Photoshop. And there we go. All right. So what do we want to do to this? It's very, I'm not sure I want these like purple bits and pieces in here. So let's add an adjustment layer. And I'll probably want to add some levels in here, but let's go ahead and do some hue and saturation right now. And so this is how I like to set Photoshop up. Hello, Jose, how are you today? Hola. I know very little Spanish, but I do know hola. So that's one of the 3 Spanish words I know. I'm terrible at language, unfortunately. Yeah, so let's mess with this. So I can make this darker, of course, which is what I want to do. We can turn the saturation up or down. It's pretty good like it is, but let us adjust the hue somewhat. I want some red curtains, right? And none of these are red. Ooh, that's really nice, though. Gosh. Hello. I think Evgenia? Is that how you pronounce your name? So my name, my last name is pronounced Lebrac. And a lot of people get that wrong. So I am somewhat sensitive to getting people's names correct in the pronunciation department. So please do correct me if I am wrong in any of this. Let's bring the reds up here. Ugh, not that much. Ooh. I want it to be like a rich red. And one thing we can do always, you know, in Photoshop like this with an adjustment layer is, in order to bring one channel up, we can always take the other channels down, right? So if I go in here and I'm like, yeah, let's pull down. Okay, cool. This looks more muted. Oh, that's my reds. I don't want, that's not what I want, Adobe. I want to take my yellows down. Greens, take those down in saturation. Cyan. Actually, cyan. I don't want to take that down too much. Because cyan can work very well with reds.
Deprives the child of these waiting flowers. Seal these things
Oh, I kind of like it, like
within
a bit desaturated like that. Pretty nice. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and add another adjustment layer. Let's just do our levels here. And you can see already we're heavily trending towards the dark, which is wonderful, of course. That's what I'm looking for. And if we push this, you know, it's gonna lighten it up quite a bit, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for that kind of lightness. Hello, Reverb Mike. How are you today? So if you just joined, we generated this with Firefly Image Model 2, and I'm just tweaking it inside of Photoshop. Checking in on my YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube, like, it's so strange. Like, there's like no audience on YouTube, which, granted, I don't really do much with YouTube anymore. But, yeah. Much more active here on Behance, which is nice. Okay. So, let's also add in a layer here. Yes, I know what layers are. Thank you. Add in a layer. Photoshop's like, do you want to learn more about layers? Yes, I've never used Photoshop before. Please, Adobe, tell me more about these layers that you speak of. All right, so we're gonna fill this empty pixel layer with red. Doesn't that look wonderful? Then we'll do something like a multiple. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Shit. Multiple. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. I didn't say that, Adobe. So yeah, so here's multiply. Let's see. I don't want it too dark, but I want it pretty dark, you know? I want it pretty dark and pretty red. Ooh, overlay's nice. This here's off, and then on. Right? Man, it's hard. It really is. Let's make this a bit darker. A darker red. Yeah. I do like it muted like that though, you know? That's pretty good. So the idea here, right, is that I will use this as my background. So, another thing that might be useful, let's go ahead and duplicate this background layer. I'm gonna bring it way up, and we're gonna add a filter to it to blur. We'll do Gaussian blur. Just blur that out about, you can't see it because it's on my other window, about 15 pixels of blur. And then we can set this to be, just to give it a little blur, just to give it a little glow. Right there. Hard light looks pretty good. Okay. This is the thing, like at this point, you're just kind of like playing with all these sliders in Photoshop. And it's like, okay, everybody, let's figure this out, Just bring some of that out a little bit. Squish it down somewhat. Deaden those lights. There we are. I'm going to say that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and do a file export. We'll quick export as a ping file. And I'm just moving this away because I'm going to put it in my special little Behance folder. I guess I'll call this dark curtains. Save it off. And now that that's done, right, I should be able to go into OBS, which is the software that I use. Most people use OBS, I think, for this sort of thing. Although a lot of people use services like, what the hell's it called? StreamYard and Restream and stuff like that, right? So I'm going to go in. I'm not going to show this, but I'm going to go in and let's go ahead and change my background image here. Browse to dark curtains. Ooh. And there it is. There are my dark curtains. If I switch back over to Chrome. Yeah, we can kind of see right there, right? Like how we started out with Firefly. Now this is the image we actually used. And here, let me copy. I mean, so it's tricky, right? But here, let's do this. I'm gonna say copy link. So this is a cool feature of Firefly that lets you copy the link with all the prompts and things like that, right? And share it with others. So I'm gonna share it in our chat right here. So if anybody wants to make some variants based on what we did here today, right? That's what you can use to do it. And I'm going to post it in my YouTube chat too, even though there's nobody there. There we are. Right on. Well, that's killer. So yeah, I mean, I'll likely use this background for a bit. So story time, right, before we leave. So Adobe Education, they used to create, the first few years that we were doing this for them, they would create backgrounds for us to use so that we'd all have sort of like a unified theme. We weren't forced to use them, right? And depending upon the year, sometimes they were nice and other times they were just absolutely infantile, right? And so I haven't used the last few. I've been generating them myself. We'll see if this kind of continues, you know? Adobe Education is going through a bit of growing pains right now. They've had a focus on K through 12 the past few years, and you know, a lot of the older programs have suffered a bit because of that. So we will see, right, what happens here. So one thing, I used to have my little Adobe Community Expert and Adobe Education Leader badges in the corner down there. And they're not there anymore, of course, because I just swapped that out. I'll have to add those back in before we go through and call this solid, right? This has been fun. What fun. Forced is the new creative. That's kind of savage. Reverb mic. Yeah, it's... Yeah. But we were not forced to use those things. So, thank heavens. All right. Anyhow, very good. I'm glad I was able to put in, you know, 30 something minutes here. Like I said, I like to keep these streams pretty tight, pretty short and to the point. I don't like to go on and on and on and on. I don't, I never have time to watch things that go on for like 1, 2, or 3 hours. Some of these things do. I think that's kind of mad. So, with that, let's cut it here. Yeah, thank you, Jamie and Scott and Jose and Eugenia, Reverb Mike, Crazes, and all. Creative is a bad word. Well, yeah, because you're I'm not getting into that. There's things I could say about that, but I'm sure I would get in trouble if I went down that rabbit hole. So let's just close that up and call it a day. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Six threads drawn together. Six threads drawn apart. Six threads to lead you down again. Six threads drawn together. Six threads drawn apart. Six threads to lead you down again.